Is hip pain making it hard to enjoy walking? Are you tired of going for a walk and then paying for hours or even days later with pain and stiffness? Do you find yourself limping or feel like you're waddling side to side because of the pain and just wish you could walk like you used to? Well, as a physical therapist who specializes in helping people specifically with osteoarthritis, I've noticed there are 3 strategies that can help you regain your ability to enjoy walking again, reduce the pain, and reduce the stiffness. And in this video, we are going to talk about it. So let's get started. Strategy number 1 is warming up. And I know it might sound simple, and even if you're warming up already, I want you to listen to this because unfortunately a lot of people miss out on some of the benefits you can get. When it comes to hip arthritis, you can be more prone to muscle stiffness and tightness, which you may have already realized. If you don't loosen up the muscles and bring blood flow to the area, you can not only feel difficulty taking the first few steps, but it can also feed into compensations you may not even know you're making. If muscles are stiff, it can change the way you move. Then, when you go out on a walk, taking step after step after step, it can further feed that compensation. This can lead to increased pain, limping. It can also limit the distance you're able to go before feeling pain. So, if you want to get distance, if you want to increase the speed, and simply just increase the enjoyment of walking, highly recommend warming up first. The key to these warm-up exercises is to make sure they don't hurt. If you're flaring up pain before you go, odds are when you are out walking, it's probably not going to feel great. So if you need to, you can add upper body support, you can minimize the range of motion, whatever you need to do to make these movements feel good. I prefer movements over static stretches because you can get a lot more bang for your buck by actually going through certain movements instead of going through static stretches. One rule of thumb I like to use when thinking about warm-up exercises, because of course there's tons of ways you can do it, is are you moving your hip in the 3 primary directions it's meant to? Meaning forwards, sideways, and backwards. So just simply going through those 3 movements can be very helpful to activate the muscles that are responsible for going in those directions. Those muscles are also responsible for supporting your hip when walking. The easiest way to do this, I like to stand on one leg. Ideally, you will do both sides, so it doesn't matter which side you start with. Take turns stepping in these 3 directions. You can step forwards 10 to 15 times, then step sideways. This one tends to be one of the most difficult for those with hip arthritis. So play around with this and just see how it feels and see if you can gradually increase the distance that you're stepping. Again, 10 to 15 repetitions. And then same thing backwards. Backwards helps to open up the hip extension. That will also help you take bigger steps, especially if you're one of those people that feels like you're shuffling or taking small steps. Again, 10 to 15 repetitions. Form is key. A lot of times, if you have hip arthritis or hip weakness, hip stiffness, you can have a lot of shoulder mobility when you're doing this. And a lot of times it looks like a side-to-side motion. So make sure you keep your shoulders square as you're stepping in each of these directions. Then you will switch to the other side. Strategy number 2 is don't forget to strengthen your feet and ankles, arguably some of the most important joints and muscles when it comes to walking. Of course, they are the first to touch the ground with each step you take. So you want to make sure those joints and muscles are ready to support you on your journey. One of the easiest ways I like to incorporate foot and ankle strengthening is through a heel raise, where I'm coming up onto my toes and lifting my heels. This helps to work the calf muscle down in the lower leg, which helps to propel you forwards when walking. If you want to take this a step further, once you're able to comfortably complete about 15 to 20 of the double leg raises, you can take it to a single heel raise, completing anywhere from about 5 to 15 each side. And you can start to see maybe if you have some muscle imbalance, or perhaps maybe one side feels tighter than the other. So that way you can start to work on that. When it comes to your feet in particular, if you have toe stiffness, especially in the big toe, I have a video here that I want you to watch next. It's going to give you some toe-specific movements you can do, because the big toe is a significant part of being able to walk like you used to. One other way that you can work your feet and ankles is through balance. And I just posted a fun balance video that you can head to here after you finish watching this, because I don't want you to miss part 3. Balance works the very small muscles and joints in your feet. It also works the muscles that support the ankles. So, especially if you are walking on uneven surfaces, uneven terrain, maybe you're hiking, you cannot neglect balance, and balance should be a regular part of your routine. These foot and ankle movements can be used before your walk, combined with that warm-up we just talked about. You can take a quick break and complete it during your walk or after your walk, depending on how you're feeling. You can also just incorporate it into your regular strengthening routine. Strategy number 3 is utilizing breaks as you're walking. This can help to prevent overstressing the joint. It can also help the muscles to relax, the muscles that are working very hard when walking. If you think about it, walking is the same movement over and over and over and over again, and it uses very similar muscles, also very repetitively. So if you're starting to feel pain, you're starting to feel the onset of stiffness, a quick break can help to allow those muscles to relax and recover just briefly, increasing your ability to walk a certain distance, walk at a speed, or just walk without pain. One of my favorite movements to help you do this is the hula hoop, or as I like to call it, the hula hoop. You're moving your hips in a circle, making sure that you're sitting your hips back, allowing the backs of your legs to become active, and then pushing your hips forwards. Anywhere from about 5 to 8 of these can be really helpful, of course, as long as they feel good. Another movement, especially if you want to be a little bit more discreet, is a lateral weight shift. Notice I'm just lifting up my heel as I shift my weight one way and then the other. Again, we're working slightly different muscles than we are walking, allowing those muscles to rest. 10, 20, 30 of these. You can also use upper body support if needed. Again, should feel good. Another movement you can do is a hip swing. I like to hold on to something for this, so whether you have a fence, you have a wall, wherever you're walking, if you could just hold on to something lightly and take your leg forwards and backwards. You can think of it like a pendulum, where I'm not trying to swing my leg as far as I can. I'm essentially letting it relax and using momentum to swing it forwards and backwards. You can also take it into a circle, just like this. And then you'll switch to the other side and do the same thing. Add that swing. This should feel good. Or you can also add that circle as well. So those are just some quick ways you can take a break, get in a few different movements, and then get on your way. Now you have the 3 strategies to help reignite your love for walking and help your body feel good when doing it. It's important to note that you may not feel results immediately after the first 1 or 2 times when trying this. It's important that you are consistent and that you don't give up too early. Also, if you're someone who is struggling with limping when walking, I'd highly recommend heading to this video next, as this can be a common symptom with hip arthritis. It'll give you some additional strategies to work on. Share this video with anyone you know who might be dealing with hip pain or hip stiffness when walking, and help them also reignite their love for walking. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit that red subscribe button down below if you haven't already. That way you'll know when I release new videos. I'll see you in the next one.